Hello everyone, welcome. I'm going to start our recital with a brief composer presentation and then get through our sort of procedures for the afternoon and get into our performances. So today I'm going to be speaking about Antonio Vivaldi. His birthday is March 4th, which is tomorrow. So this is today is a celebration of him as well as our student performers. I'm going to kind of speed run this. So I have like 5 slides. Each one has a few facts, a few questions to just think about or maybe to ponder in the future, and then a brief musical example to highlight Vivaldi's life and career. So as a youth, he was born in Venice. His father was a barber and a violinist that performed around town. He had health issues from a young age, maybe even at birth. He was baptized at birth, which was not the common thing to do at that time. He was born and immediately baptized. And there's some speculation about why. Some of it is his ill health. Some of it is that there was a volcano that was erupting in Italy at the time, and so people were a little bit doom and gloom about the whole thing. He started learning violin from his father at a very young age, 4 or 5. But his father also pressed him to go into the priesthood. So by the age of 14, he started doing that. Then again, I put a few questions here, maybe 5 facts, and then was he already writing music at an early age? What kind of music did he perform? And did he play other instruments before a violin? Here's one of the first recorded works by him, recorded / pieces of manuscripts they have from him. It's about a 30-second clip, not 8 minutes, don't worry. Okay, so this is sort of a string quartet of his, Sonata for Violin and Basso Continuo. Sorry, it's going to do it again. There we go. As a violinist, again, he began studying violin with his father at a very young age. He toured early and often around the city of Venice and neighboring towns. This was with his father, so he and his father kind of played together for quite a long time. He began studying also for the priesthood at the age of 15. So he's already 10 years a violinist. Now he's starting to go into the priesthood. He was known for much of his life as a very technical violinist. His ability on the violin gave him a long career as the master of violin at the Ospedale della Pieta, a girls' orphanage, and we will speak more about that briefly. Again, you can read the questions this time as we watch another performance. This is a concerto by him for 4 violinists. I find Vivaldi very fascinating because of the 3 things that I will be speaking about. So from an early age, he was a violinist. He was also a composer. Everything we've listened to, of course, is a piece by him. So his first published work, again, this is the one that we already listened to. He wrote in 1705. Until his move to Vienna, he continued to write. His most notable works are his concertos. We've seen one already, we're about to see another one, having a major impact on future generations of concerto writing. He wrote mostly for strings, in particular for the violin, but he also wrote for other instruments, including keyboard, winds, and guitar. He wrote 40-plus operas within a 25-year period, so almost an opera and a half a year, which is pretty intense. I'm almost 1,000 years old, and I've written 0 operas, so... This one is a bassoon concerto. Okay, just little snippets. If you like, please go more. He's written over thousands of pieces, so it's great composer to explore. And finally, as a teacher, so composer, a violinist, and as a teacher. So he formally began and ended his career at the Ospedale della Pieta. Again, this is like an orphanage for girls in the Venice area. His responsibilities grew over the course of 30 years as a teacher there. He started as just a violin teacher. He ended his career as the director of all music at the Ospedale della Pieta. His students gained esteem very quickly upon his arrival, which gave him a lot of notoriety to his ability as a teacher, though there's no records of him having teachers or students prior to this moment. 25-year-old just rocks up, starts teaching kids how to play violin, and they start showing off master skills very quickly. His purpose at the orphanage was to give an aristocratic trade, something that these girls could go out into the culture of Venice and be prosperous, either for marriage or for other ensembles. He composed much of his music during this time, and much of his music was for the students, for the area around. Here's another piece. This is a short clip of an aria from one of his 40 operas. Most of his operas had kind of intense and very serious themes. And then last little bit, so as a waning artist, towards the latter part of his life, he made kind of a terrible decision and moved to Vienna. He did that because there was King Charles IV that was willing to pay him to be a patron of Vivaldi. Unfortunately, King Charles passed away within like 4 months of him moving, and he was the only person who knew the name of Vivaldi. So after having this very long life and very long career, he actually died pretty much unknown in the city of Vienna. He died in like a baker's house and paying rent. He had an unmarked grave for quite a long time. Also because of that, a lot of his music was lost for a long time, just put away somewhere in Ospedale Pieta or around. And it wasn't until the 20th century and the reinvigorated love of Baroque music, coming from Bach, coming from Mendelssohn, and then leading to Vivaldi, that his music is even seen or played today. I find it fascinating when you have an artist, a composer from 300 years ago, and now on YouTube, you can see things like this. So that's a clip from one of his famous concertos, the Four Seasons. And you see an electric guitarist is learning this music 300 years later, just kind of solidifying his influence over this time. Vivaldi, that's it. And just because I want it to be special, I put my sources up here as well. And we move on. Okay, so there we go. Oh, please do not clap. Oh, okay, fine. Now let's get on to the real important stuff. So we have, I think, 5 performers today. I'm just going to quickly run through our little synopsis on procedural things for our performers and for our audience members. So performers, please make sure to wait for the stage to be set. Most of our stuff is ready, but pianists, please wait for the lid to be up and for Mr. Suresh to get the camera in place. Walk up to the sides of the stage and bow before performing. Please, after the performance, stand if you were seated. All of us will be. And please again bow. And if you have a pianist that Dr. Kwok is playing for you with you, please acknowledge her and let her bow for us as well. Audience, make sure all your stuff is turned off. Those cell phones you're wandering around with, make sure they're off. Applaud when the musicians get up. Before the performance, please do not fidget, move around, or talk during the performance. Show your appreciation at the end by, again, an applause. And then at the end, we'll have a small picture for everyone, and I'll give some thanks to our stage crew and our ushers. Okay. Thank you very much. Here's to our first performer, Sharia. talented stage crew Arav and Annika and anyone else helping out at the ushering outside. Second, to our performers today. And thirdly, to yourselves for coming, supporting music, and your friends.